In today's video, I will be visiting some of the graves of famous people buried in Cave Hill Cemetery and Frankfort Cemetery in Kentucky. First, I visited Frankfort Cemetery in the state capital of Frankfort. The first grave I visited here was that of former Governor William Goebel. He was active as the governor of Kentucky for a mere 4 days in 1900 before he was assassinated. He remains the only state governor to be assassinated while in office in the United States. Next, I visited the grave of Daniel Boone. Daniel Boone is known as an American pioneer who explored and settled the state of Kentucky. He was originally buried on his family farm in Missouri. However, a Kentucky delegation convinced the Boone family to move his grave to Kentucky in 1845. His wife Rebecca died 20 years prior to him, so when he was buried, there was a rumor that somebody had already been buried next to his wife, so they buried him at her feet instead. So, when his body was moved, the controversy is that they took the body next to Rebecca and it wasn't actually Daniel Boone. This has yet to be proved or disproved, so we may never know the truth. Next, I visited the grave of Richard Mentor Johnson. He served in the Kentucky State Legislature for 2 years before being elected to the U.S. House of Representatives. He went back to Kentucky when the War of 1812 broke out and fought in the Battle of Thames. He is credited with the killing of Shawnee leader Tecumseh. I concluded my visit at the Frankfort Cemetery by visiting the Kentucky War Memorial, which is dedicated to Kentuckians who have died in any war. The second location I visited is Cave Hill Cemetery in Louisville. The first grave that I visited here was that of Harry Collins. He was the official corporate magician for the Frito-Lay Company from 1970 until his death in 1985. He promoted products of the company through performing magic tricks. The next grave I visited is that of Nicola Marshall. He designed the Stars and Bars, the Confederate flag, and the Great Confederate uniform during the Confederacy. Then I visited the grave of Muhammad Ali. He is known as one of the greatest heavyweight boxers of all time. His grave reads the quote, "Service to others is the rent you pay for your room in heaven." Next, I visited the grave of George Rogers Clark. He was an American surveyor, soldier, and militia officer. He was a leader of the Kentucky militia for much of the American Revolutionary War. He is buried alongside several of his family members, as seen here. Finally, I visited the grave of Colonel Sanders. He is known as the founder of Kentucky Fried Chicken, or otherwise known as KFC. His face is still an active symbol of the company's primary company. Thanks for watching. Merry Christmas.